Your unique story, our global audience. Global One Media.
Welcome, everyone, to our unique journey series, where we bring you exciting, informative, and innovative stories from company executives globally. I'm your host, Ashley Berry, and today we're welcoming Allan, President and CEO of Beyond Lithium, along with Alain Lambert, co-founder and capital markets investment advisor. The growth stage exploration company is focused on the exploration and development of mineral properties and the acquisition of mineral property assets in Canada. Beyond Lithium is listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange as BY and the OTCQB as BYDMF. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you for having us again.
So, Alain, I'd like to start with you as the co-founder of Beyond Lithium. Might you explain the history of the company for our viewers to really understand the whole backstory here?
Yes, absolutely. So the company started in 2019. An old friend of mine from Montreal, Victor Cantori, who's very well known in the Canadian capital markets. He's CEO of Amex Exploration and has deep experience into the lithium space. Him and I decided to create what is now Beyond Lithium. And so we brought in a few private investors, started with some properties, and then quickly grew to what is now Beyond Lithium, the largest explorer for lithium assets in Ontario. And the company went public last year through an initial public offering. And my friend Alain was at the time a stockbroker at Haywood Securities, and then he did the initial public offering, then retired, and then we took him out of retirement, and he's now the CEO of our company.
Wonderful. I'm sure it was so exciting to see it go public last year. You know, all that work, all that thought going into it. Really quite a success story. So, Allan, for nearly 50 years, you worked in the investment industry in Canada, financing mining companies while you were a stockbroker. And I also understand you retired from the investment industry last year, having seen so many mining companies during your career. What really motivated you to, quote unquote, come out of retirement and become president and CEO of Beyond Lithium?
Thanks for the question. Yeah, 50 years at the job, raising capital for junior companies. So during those years, I learned, the right way to do things, structure-wise and people-wise. I put all that experience along with Alain Lambert's experience into the creation of this company when we did the IPO. And after retirement, I'm looking back, I actually was retired for 2 days before Alain tapped me for another job. So that's how long my retirement lasts. But at any rate, I like it. You need to be busy, and you need to be active, and you need to work with good people. So the first thing for me was, who are the people here? Of course, that was my same criteria for doing the IPO. As Alain said earlier, Victor Cantori is very well known. He's a mover and a shaker and a deal maker and a very interesting and exciting character. So, and Alain and myself have worked together in capital markets since the early 90s. So, I had all of that history with people already. So it was kind of a natural when they asked me, especially when the mission became clear that not only were we going to get involved in lithium, but we were going to get involved in a very big way with lithium. We wanted to stand out different from the others, and we did that immediately by acquiring 150,000 hectares in Ontario. So we are uniquely different. So those are the reasons, the people, and of course the structure. This company is structured so well, we can build and expand for the next couple of years without any significant dilution, thereby, creating as much shareholder value as is possible. Obviously, and ultimately, value has to be created through exploration, and that's what we're setting out to do.
Oh, wonderful. You just mentioned the hectares in Ontario and it really being the largest portfolio of lithium exploration properties there. Also, 64 different properties. What's the exploration plan for this year to cover that much ground? And also tell us a little bit about the exploration team you have.
Okay. Thanks, Ashley, for that question. In terms of our exploration team, we've got 5 very competent people. We recently hired Lawrence Sang as VP Exploration, whom I've got lots of experience with over a decade. Very accomplished man, from early stage exploration right up to mine building. And also we hired a technical advisor, Graham Evans, who spent 40 years in the business, 14 years with Tech Corp on an international basis. Great explorer, and also I have lots of history with him. We have Paul Baxter, another fellow that's just recently joining us, who'll be working in the field, looking at old holes and hopefully doing some re-assaying and some surveying and field work for us. In the field itself, we have Jason LeBlanc from Bounty Gold and Jace Angel from Last Resorts. The last two are the prospectors that put these properties together. Great criteria for selecting. They're an integral part of our team now. They're actually boots on the ground as we speak. And our program has been underway for several weeks. We've got 12 people working in the field. And we've covered about 1/3 of all of our properties already, which is pretty remarkable considering how vast the portfolio is. But we're enjoying the work, and we're seeing lots of interesting things. We have over 500 pegmatites that actually stick out that you can see, and many more that I'm sure are buried. So it's a formidable task, to say the least, but we're up for it. We've also got about 14 or 15 holes we can recover from government facilities that were drilled in the past. And Paul Baxter will be looking at those, relogging them, and doing some assay work there. So that's going to be really good too in the first phase. The second phase, we'll take a look at our work from phase one, and we will have categorized our properties into tiers 1, 2, and 3. Second phase, we'll look harder at tier 1. We'll select different properties there out of its tier 1 group, and hopefully do some drilling on those in phase 3 before the end of 2023. So we're active, aggressive, lots of great talent, well-funded, and we're working in the field as we speak.
Wonderful. As I was saying, Allan, when you were talking, it really sounds like a very accomplished team. And I think it'll be really exciting to see the results of those assays you talk about. Also, just wondering, there are many provinces in Canada that have recently seen a large influx on capital for lithium exploration, including Quebec, Ontario, and Manitoba. So the question is, what really attracted you, Allan, to Ontario? And do you see Beyond eventually expanding in other jurisdictions?
Well, firstly, hard rock pegmatite or hard rock lithium exploration is to do with pegmatites, which are found in the Canadian Shield. Mm-hmm. They run through Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, into the territories. And there are pegmatites there, and there's no doubt in my mind that lithium will be discovered in every one of those provinces. However, our selection was mandated by the fact that Quebec, which would have been our primary area of interest, got outpriced so quickly. Where you could buy properties for $50 a hectare, they're up to, in some cases, $500. So, for little guys looking for starter kits, it's really hard to afford a big land position. Mm-hmm. And as I said before, the shield is the shield, and pegmatites are pegmatites. So Ontario has a lot of discoveries as well, and most of the focus was on Quebec at the time. Ontario was still very well priced, so we jumped at that opportunity. I doubt we'd be able to replicate that now because things have changed there too. There is a lot of interest in lithium, hard rock lithium exploration in Canada, and it's quite easy to see. And Manitoba, of course, has some discoveries as well. Same type of thing. We would always look at opportunities regardless of where they are. However, our opportunity came, it presented itself, and we took it, and we're really happy with it. So for now, we'll be sticking with Ontario.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Allan. So, Alain, there are currently about 100 listed lithium exploration companies active in Canada. So I guess we're talking about the competition, or is it competition? And so I'm curious as to how you feel, what sets Beyond Lithium apart from those dozens of other companies?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that we have 64 different properties, all of which we are exploring right now. So the typical model, as you know, Ashley, and your viewers would know, is that a company will acquire 1 or 2 or 3 properties, and that becomes the portfolio. And so your odds of a discovery are, let's say, 1 in 2, 1 in 3, or exposure to two possible discoveries, or three, I should say. And in ours, it's 64 different times you get a kick at the can at discovery. The other thing I would mention is what Al said. So the team, so combination of very, very strong technical team that Al talked about, and then I would say himself and myself with considerable capital markets experience. So it's really the putting the two types of skill sets together that is quite unique. And the last thing I'd say is early on, Al mentioned the structure. So we only have 28 million shares outstanding. A lot of it is owned by management and myself, founder, and so on. So we're leveraged to the positive to any discovery, given our very tight share structure.
Very helpful. I'd like to end this by asking both of you, the business model is that of a project generator. For our viewers that may not be familiar with that, what are the benefits of a project generator and what does it mean?
Well, let me read you the definition, and Alain can explain it to you probably even better. So a definition of a project generator is: a project generator maintains a portfolio of multiple projects and funds major exploration work by creating joint venture partnerships with other companies. They acquire prospects they deem to have significant mineral potential and option them to a partner, generally a mid-tier or major mining company. Alain?
So, yeah, well, that's a great definition. So here are some of the benefits, right? So it is very costly to find a deposit. It's very costly to develop it, and then even more costly to turn it into a mine. And that's one of the reasons we see so many Canadian juniors with 2, 3, 4, 500 million shares outstanding. And what we want to do is to make deals with other juniors or even larger scale companies that we have spoken to, and have them spend some of their dollars on our properties. What we will be looking for is to retaining a direct interest in all of these projects. Call it maybe 30% interest, where somebody will be spending 100% of their dollars for a 70% interest. And by doing so, we're achieving two things. One is to keep the number of shares outstanding low by not diluting to put up our own dollars for exploration. And by retaining a direct interest in a discovery, then our initial thesis that our shareholders are exposed to 64 different possible discoveries will remain true, because we will have kept a direct interest in these projects. So there's been a few companies that have adopted that business model in the Canadian market and abroad, and with great success for their shareholders, and that's what we're replicating.
Wonderful. So Alain, repeat that one more time. You said 64. This sounds like, opening up something that really sounds like a big incentive. Explain that again. The 64. This is what they have to.
Yeah. So we have 64 different properties in all of the, call it, exciting areas for lithium in Ontario, and we will spend some of our own dollars to further develop some of these properties. And as a project generator, we're going to be talking to, or we are talking, I should say, to other companies that might want to come in and spend their own dollars to develop our properties. And the proposition would be that they would spend 100% of the exploration dollars in order to earn a 70% interest, let's say, and we get carried for 30%. And so that keeps the possibility for our shareholders to get a kick at the can 64 different times.
Wonderful. That right there sounds like incentive in and of itself to pay attention. Allan Frame, President and CEO of Beyond Lithium, and Alain Lambert, co-founder and capital markets investment advisor. Thank you both for your time and for sharing these exciting updates. We look forward to sharing more with our Global One audience.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.